What is up, everybody? I don't know why this thing keeps freezing on me. But anyway, just finished watching UFC 182. Um, so let's get to, you know, the, the fights. The more important ones, the ones that stuck out with me. Because I know I'm gonna forget one. Because it's Nate. No, not Nate Marquardt. Nate, but yeah, he did fight. Um, Josh Bergman versus uh, Hector Lombard. Josh Bergman, I really feel bad for him. I really do. Because here's a guy who was let go of UFC, just started, cleaning house in the World Series of Fighting, uh, choked out the guy who beat him in UFC, John Fitch, and then is gonna fight for their world title against an absolute nobody, and gets choked out in the fourth round. For UFC to sign him, and his first fight back to just get straight up dominated by Hector Lombard. Hector Lombard is a phenomenal fighter, so more power to him. We'll see. He's a legitimate contender. He could probably beat Robbie Lawler if he was to be given a title shot. He could definitely beat Robbie Lawler. Nate, skipping one fight, I definitely know skipping one fight. But jumping to Nate Marquardt's fight versus the kid. All I know is that Ray Sefo was in his corner and that he's probably Polynesian, so he's probably from New Zealand, maybe. And kid just destroyed Nate Marquardt. Nate Marquardt, he was good in UFC. Then cuts down to welterweight, goes to Strikeforce, wins the Strikeforce welterweight belt. Cool, right? Then loses the belt in the last ever Strikeforce show. Comes back to UFC and gets destroyed. Comes back as a middleweight and still not really impressing anybody. I don't know what to tell you, Nate. Retirement looks right around the corner from you. You had the Strikeforce belt when it was actually considered something worth having. So more power to you, man. There's no way in hell you're gonna, there's no way in hell you're winning a UFC belt. You're too far behind in the ranking. Nobody's gonna give, they're not gonna give you a title shot anytime soon. Maybe go to World Series or Bellator. They might give you something. The co-main event. There's a dude, the Cowboy. I forget his name. Dennis. What the hell is his name? Anyway, just absolutely dominated. He's a good fighter. He's up there in age, but he's obviously a phenomenal fighter. So I think he's gonna get a lightweight title shot. There'll be a rematch with him and Anthony Pettis, and that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be very interesting to see again because he's a pretty exciting fighter, and Anthony Pettis, obviously, he's Showtime. So yeah, we'll see what happens. That'd be great. And of course, I'm not happy about this. For those of you who have been following me, and for those of you who have posted, posted comments about my comments on Mr. John Jones. You already know how I feel about this. Now, granted, I didn't have anything against John Jones as UFC champion, or as as a person or anything like that. I just did not like his style of fighting because he's got that long, lanky, it looks lazy style, and because he's fighting guys that don't know how to get in, can't get into his reach. He looks like the far superior fighter. It was the same thing with Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva's biggest weakness was wrestlers. he'd go up against wrestlers, and wrestlers would start beating the snot out of him, and out of nowhere, uh, he comes in with a submission. Man had no wrestling defense whatsoever, but his jiu-jitsu was proficient enough to save him every time. And it was frustrating to see that. Because Anderson Silva respect as the champion, definitely greatest UFC middleweight champion ever, greatest UFC champion ever, 10 title defenses. Nobody has that. Nobody has that many title defenses. And for him to for John Jones to have a similar style to that because of his long lankiness and those sneaky as hell, just these shot put elbows that he throws. What I hate about people that throw elbows like that is because it's like you're not trying to win the fight that way. You're basically trying to stop the fight. Because if you cut somebody just above the eye, you cut them real bad, they start to bleed out. Then, of course, because it's right above the eye, it's going to take a lot of punishment. It's going to get worse. Blood's going to come into the eye. Doctor's going to have to stop it. That's the only reason why people really throw elbows. In IFL, they banned elbows. In Pride, they banned elbows because they didn't like that happening, because it's a cheap way to win. And that's what he does all the time, and I hate it. And I said for the longest time, he goes up against guys who can't get inside the pocket. But Daniel Cormier, who's always been a short fighter, always goes up against taller opponents, knows how to get inside that reach. He can get inside that reach and do some devastating things. And what happens in the first round? He was getting inside the reach, but he would meet a knee to the body. But he would come in, grab the head, bam, catch him with a couple of devastating uppercuts too, man. Seriously. And it looked like Jones was scared. Second round, that was the first round, but Jones landed a significant amount of strikes for the first round. Second round, all Cormier. Get it inside the pocket. Bam, bam. Just connecting. Able to block it, the high kicks, this, that, the other. Able to swing and dodge past his, sneaky elbows and all this. Grabbing him, bam, jab. 1-2, 1-2, over and over again. Beautiful. Third round, almost the same thing. Not as much, but almost. So 2 rounds to Cormier. Great. Fourth round, John Jones, since he can't use his reach advantage, what does he do? He smothers him against the cage. Pretty much just kept him there the entire time. Managed to take him down 3 times. Because he's a lot taller, basically went just below the belt, cinched both his legs together, pulled him down. 1, 2, did it literally 3 times in a row, did nothing. Held him up against the cage for the entire fourth round, and didn't really do too much else. While he's up against there, he's getting these short shots to the body, couple to the head, stuff like that. Nothing that is going to do any real damage, but it scores points. He played the game. He didn't come in like he wasn't trying to win. He was trying not to lose now. And it's such a cheap. I hate it when guys do that. It's such a cheesy way to win a fight. Because I had him up. I scored the points, and I had the octagon control the whole time. So yeah, I won the fight. Fifth round, pretty much the same thing. Holding him up against the cage. By this time, Cormier's tired. Both of them were pretty tired. Cormier, one mistake that Cormier kept making was he kept trying to take John Jones down. John Jones, because unfortunately, because of how tall he is, it's tough to really be able to take him down as a traditional wrestling, due to the fact that he can just easily spread his legs out to the point where there's nothing you could do with it. He wasted all his energy taking him down into one nasty, almost threw him out of the cage, and then slammed him back down onto the mat. And then this is what as a Christian, this is what pisses me off, and this is what the guys that were with me obviously didn't appreciate. What Mr. Jones did is Cormier had him by the thigh, trying to take him down again. It wasn't working. Jones was trying to then raises his hands up in victory just before the horn sounds. When Cormier lets go, he sucker punches him. Cormier lets go, bam, hits him. Then Cormier unloads, tags him like 3 times. Horn sounds, but Herb Dean was in between the two of them. And then, while he's getting pulled away, John Jones does the trademark DX suck it. Yeah. Philippians 4:13 tattooed across your chest. You're wearing that across. You're professing Christ, and that's how you treat people. That's exactly what Jesus would have done at the end of that fight, huh? John Jones basically had a Nike endorsement, stabbed Nike in the back because now, oh yeah, he's all Reebok now because of the whole UFC uniform deal, which I've already made my bones about that, and he's just slowly but surely just I just continue. Everything he does now is like, at least like I didn't really respect him until the way he beat Chael Sonnen. I was like, okay, if he used to fight more like that, and especially his fight against Gustafsson, I was like, if he had more fights like that where that really somebody really took it to him, and he was still able to prevail. Yeah, I might be able to respect him, because he's fighting a bunch of has-beens. Then for him to do this with Cormier, it was like he knew Cormier was going to beat him, because Cormier knew how to. Like I said it since day one. Cormier knows how to get inside that reach, and that's exactly what Cormier was doing. So what did he do? Pressed him up against the cage. So that way neither his reach or the fact Cormier couldn't use the fact that he knew how to get inside, because now he was too far inside. He was ineffective. It's sad. It's absolutely sad. Cormier definitely needs to work on his cardio a lot more. Granted, he still probably could have done some damage if they were more or less left out in the open, but needs to work on his cardio more. And there's no doubt in my mind that he absolutely can beat John Jones. Gustafsson could definitely, this time around, I hope he does. I hope he beats John Jones. I want somebody to beat him, to take him down a peg. And his whole thing, greatest of all time. No, you're not going down greatest of all time. You're not going down as the GOAT. You're going down as the jackass. Because you yourself said you want to be the bad guy. So, you want to be the bad guy? Everybody has to hate you. Just like everybody hated Tito. Look where Tito is now. Now that he's no longer champion, his record's broken, and basically he's just clinging on for dear life in Bellator, because he sure as hell can't take it in UFC anymore. And of course the people who were on John Jones' side, to begin with, that was like, probably gonna try to rub it in my face like he won. It's like even how he won, and especially afterwards, just all the trash he just kept talking. It's like I said, he wasn't by the third and fourth round, he wasn't trying to win anymore. He was just trying not to lose, and that's not a champion. That's not a champion. That's why I love GSP. That's why I love Chuck. That's why I love Randy. That's why I love Brock. They fought to win. I'm done talking. You guys have a good night.